welcome to the Dr. Detective, a PhD true crime podcast. The show where we bring you critical assessment based on experience. We have another episode to bring to you. We're going to talk about the tragic news out of Vallejo, California. There was a body found inside a hoarder's wall of his home. Again, tragic story. This was a missing person, active Ebony Alert at the time. So let's get right into the story. Brought to you by the Dr. Detective. Again, find us on YouTube, the YouTube channel. You can also find us on Spotify for streaming, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible. Again, this is out of Vallejo, California, 2025, just about a week ago or so in September. So police are notified. They are contacted by family because the family of this missing person, Renia Lewis, contacts them. They believe they have good information about her last location and whereabouts. Now, understanding that Renia Lewis was reported missing September 26. She was last seen September 26 around 9 or 10 p.m. in Vallejo. Again, this is a black female, 28 years of age, about 5'3", 135 pounds, seen in Vallejo. Mom put the information out in family. Family was actively searching for her. Mom had some applications on her cell phone, and she sent a text to her daughter, did not get a response, called the police. So the police arrived at this last location where she was known to have been seen here in Vallejo. They arrive here, and unfortunately, after a series of checks, they find a body inside the home. That body was identified, unfortunately, as Renia Lewis. Now, the person of interest and subject of this arrest, because there was a person arrested, was brought into the station for questioning, talk with police. He did, in fact, admit to the unaliving and killing of Renia Lewis. Again, she's a black female, 20 years of age, mother of 5 children, reported missing on the 26th, and the active Ebony Alert was issued. Again, her body was found on the 28th, just a few days later. So she was unalived and kept there for several days. We don't know the entire story, but as I mentioned, the family and mother tracked her cell forensic data to this location or last location where it was identified to have what's called pinged or communicated with the towers, the cell towers, right? So they sent police here. They did what's called a cursory search after tracking the cell data. What is a cursory search? Essentially, it's a quick or brief search, kind of like a check the welfare or a superficial examination of something. In this case, this was like a check the welfare, check to see if Renia had been there. Was there any kind of relationship or communications? What did this individual actually know, or what was actually determined at the time? Initially, upon the cursory search, police went out. They didn't find anything. So they did a basic quick search. Upon, again, talking with the family, getting additional data, they went back out to the house with a search warrant. So at that time, new information was obtained. They interviewed this individual, and after finding the body, after getting the search warrant, finding the body of Renia, they went out to the home, did a thorough search. This is where they found a concealed door in the upper attic area, and what they believed to be the remains of a female. She was later identified as Renia, and the family was notified. At that time, the police made an arrest. So she was in the area of that home. Kind of, if you look to the top of the right screen here, you can see the yellow house depicted, kind of deplorable. Almost appears to be vacant or, abandoned in that kind of condition, right? Not a well-kept area, but she was like still concealed inside the top area of this home in the attic behind a wall. And she was actually placed there intentionally, and it was concealed. Police arrested a suspect, and he was identified as Douglas Irwin Shaw. This is a white male, 41 years of age. it was determined that he worked at Six Flags as a mechanic. So upon talking with him, he did confess to unaliving Renia Lewis, and police continued their um, background searches and deep dive into who this individual is and was. And they talk with an ex-girlfriend who happened to have a restraining order previously for some threats made against her. So this ex-girlfriend and her father describes him as a narcissist. They said he thought he was right, everybody else was wrong, essentially. And we're going to gain more details as the investigation continues. But he did admit during interview that he unalived Renia Lewis. He admitted this to detectives. Of course, this is a picture on the left here, potentially license photo. On the right, this is his picture in court. He didn't enter a plea in court. So even though he admitted on record to detectives, I'm sure under Miranda, he got to court and didn't enter a plea. So we'll see what happens moving forward, what additional case they're going to have to build, what other evidence they may have identified. Again, I'm sure they're going to interview people where he worked at Six Flags, like they talked to the ex-girlfriend and her father. I'm sure other employees, maybe the boss, maybe other supervisors and so forth, they're going to talk with, see what kind of employee he was. What did people know about him? What did they think of him? What did they know? What had he potentially said to them? They arrested him at work at the Six Flags location on the 28th. So they arrested him 20th or 30th, roughly. They arrested him at that location and conducted the interview. So police are still continuing the investigation for leads, for a deep dive into the social media context and content. They're going to look at everything. They're going to look at forensics. They're going to look at the social media potentially, if in fact he had a social media page, right? They're going to look at just neighbors, family, friends, relatives, anything that could lead to some kind of motive or potential connection to the two of these individuals. So questions that come to mind: how did they know each other? How did they come into contact, right? Was there any connection or maybe a place of interest? Was it at Six Flags or maybe somewhere else in passing? Social media, could have been a potential dating site. We don't know. We're going to see what is uncovered and what's presented, maybe when it comes time for court, or as additional elements develop that they can share, of course, right? So we keep the case close to, um, for the integrity purposes, keep it kind of sealed or contained initially until, police know more. When they know more, maybe they'll be able to share that. So what might be the reason why they had contact? And then what could their social media and communications maybe tell us? That would be their cell phones, emails, again, all communications, all relevant, even association. Maybe they met by friends or by family of some sort. So that will come to light, hopefully in the near future. So the family speaks out. News talked to several families, including mom and several cousins that spoke about it. Let's take a look at a video. Again, this talks about some of the context of what was discovered, the unfortunate discovery of her body and so forth. Let's take a look at this quick video.
All of a home. And tonight, a suspect has been taken into custody. Her disappearance triggered an Ebony Alert issued by CHP, and now her loved ones are grappling with the devastating news. Betty Yu has the story.
What did she do to you for you to kill her and then put her in a wall? When he said, "We found your daughter," I just collapsed. I was like, I can't believe this. And I was praying. I said, God, please don't let it be her. Please don't let it be her. And he did not answer my prayer.
It was the news no one in 28-year-old Renia Lewis's family wanted to hear. Police found her body behind a wall inside this home on 14th Street in Vallejo. Her mother last texted her on Friday and thought it was unusual not to get a response.
When they found her body behind the wall. They nailed her body behind the wall.
Vallejo police announced late Tuesday that they had arrested Douglas Shaw. It's still unclear what his relationship is to Renia or to the home.
The person that they have in custody is being cooperative, stated that he did indeed kill Renia. He threw her phone on top of the school. That's the most information that I have.
Police now have Renia's phone, which her family says last pinged at this address. Her mother used the Life 360 app to track her final location, and her cousin Latoya helped lead the family's search in the area.
Renia was the best loving person. The girl loved to cook.
So yeah, I thought it was interesting. The mom had the app Life 360, and this app is available for Android and for iPhone. So again, I just looked into some details about this because we know our children, we know their potential lifestyles, and if you communicate on a daily basis or even every other day, when you send out communication, what's normal and what's kind of unusual or what's just abnormal, what doesn't make sense to you. So mom had that suspicion something's wrong, right? And she reacted immediately. Now, the Life 360 app is pretty much based on GPS and cellular technology, right? So it tracks people in real time, location of family, friends, members, and so forth. So it shares a location with each other on a map, a digital map. Again, you can receive notifications when someone arrives to a location, leaves a designated location, or communicates through messaging and so forth. Again, so it creates a circle of friends and family using GPS and cellular technology. I'm not endorsing this. I'm just sharing this because these apps are free, right? So again, it's best to always know what's out there, what can be of use. This may be of use for you, your family, friends, your kids, your spouse, loved ones, and so forth, right? So location history is everything because guess what? Without this, I hate to think that they may have never found her, and she was an active Ebony Alert. Also, she was reported missing. Right, families and friends are searching for her, but without this app, that may not have led police to that location. Right, so it gives location information, real time location sharing, place alerts, even crash detection if someone's involved in a car crash. How about landing locations, places where you landed at, or at least your device and yourself was or could have been or could have just you know arrived at or stopped through or even passing through, right? So this is all GPS cellular technology communicating or what's called pinging with the cell towers to provide information. If you're broke down somewhere, you can call for roadside assistance, tile trackers, right, to break down the lat longitude, potentially distance and locations and proximity. So mom was aware of this. She checked the app. She got no response. She called authorities and shared that information with them. So again, if you consider that app, not a bad idea to have on your phone. We have cases, multiple cases that we deal with in varieties of capacities, and work just about every case you can think of, and some they're all different, all unimaginable. Some have better turnout than others. In this case, this was a tragic, tragic outcome. Worst case scenario, right? So, mom had put out the missing persons report. She had her phone number. Another unfortunate thing I want to touch on also, I saw reports that even though mom had, took the initiative and she left her phone number with Vallejo police, she was getting scam calls of people, trying to get her to pay money, saying, "I know where your daughter is." So, how shameful is that with these scammers and these people? They have no compassion for anyone. So she's getting fake calls or fake reports of where she was or sightings and so forth. So again, this could have been used for the good. Hopefully it would have been in a more timely manner. We don't know exactly what happened when she was unalived and so forth. It may have made a difference, but it did in the case for apprehension and for the arrest of this individual, Douglas Shaw. This was enacted in 2023. It was signed into bill by California Senator Stephen Bradford initiated this. This was to help bring home missing Black children and young Black women, which there's been some discrepancy about, right? So he says it's truly something needed. We would have done it if we wouldn't have done it if we didn't think it was important. So the governor was commended for his actions, and this became law and legislation, right? The governor signed that bill 673, the Ebony Alert. So again, we have the Amber Alert, the Ebony Alert. There's several other alerts for elderly and so forth. But in this case, She was an active missing person, an active subject of this notification system for location. And fortunately, she was located. The chief, Jason Ta, spoke out about this, said it was a heartbreaking, senseless act of violence that has no place in the community because this impacted not just family and friends, but the entire community, right? So the chief stated, our thoughts are with the descendants' family and during this incredible, difficult time, just a rough time all the way around. So we're going to dial back to see what the outcome is for Douglas Shaw, maybe some of the interview, if they choose to release that to the public, and we can assess what was said. Again, contingent upon whether he lawyered up at some point in time or it was something of worthy nature. The fact that he admitted to the unaliving is a good thing. So that's a confession, essentially. On behalf of Renia Lewis and family, we want to send condolences as always, and prayers for her, her children, her mom, her cousins, her family, friends, and the community of Vallejo. Again, tragic story, very tragic because she was a missing person and we don't know all the details, but maybe that'll come to light. Right. So again, this is the body found in the Hoarder's wall with the missing person, Renia Lewis, from the Dr. Detective, a PhD True Crime Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe and continue to follow. Again, it's free to subscribe. So please, by all means, share the story, share the news, download the app, spread some love as always. I say that have some compassion. Everybody's so in their feelings right now. So too much going on, too much stress, right? Again, spread some love. Check on your loved ones, check on your neighbors. Thanks for watching, as always. Thanks. More to come.